Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Screenie. Shark Tank has brought us some pretty awesome products over the years. Some business deals triumph, some spectacularly fail, and others are so badly pitched that it was doomed from the moments they walked in through that door. Join us as we take a look at the worst Shark Tank pitches ever. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos about your favorite movies and TV shows. Vest paks. Any product that has a Z on the end when there should be an S should be immediately canned, if you ask us. Michael Woolley and Arthur Greyer appeared on the show in Season 6 with their novelty kids backpack company. They wanted a pretty $50,000 for 10% of the biz, but when it came to premise, they didn't really have much going for them. The design idea was from the daughter of one of the guys who came up with the idea when she was in 6th grade. Rather than carrying a backpack, she designed a vest that also served as a carrier for all your bits and bobs. Woolley managed to partner up with Greyer, and the product was sold in 75 Walmart stores in 2013, but they made less than $10,000. The Sharks weren't overly enthusiastic, as technically the product had already made some headway and proved that it was a dud. They did like the idea of Woolley's daughter though, who won an entrepreneurship competition and ended up on the Oprah Winfrey Show. But when Woolley revealed that was in 2003 and his daughter was now 27, it was the kiss of death. Vest paks walked out the door with nothing.
It's a great product, and Vest paks is on the way to the top.
Bed rider. If you're the proud owner of a pickup truck, the chances are that you've probably let someone hitch a short distance lift in the back at least once. It's neither legal or safe to do, with hundreds of accidents happening each year due to this unsafe method of transport. One Chattanooga native, George Conway, approached the Sharks with a solution to all of these problems: the bed rider. Conway had constructed some safety seats for the backs of pickup trucks, seemingly to allow people to be safely strapped in. While he delivered a spirited and charming pitch, the Sharks weren't about to give him the $200,000 that he wanted. There were simply too many things that could go wrong with the product, and the potential for a ton of lawsuits when the people ended up getting hurt anyway. The potential investors were so concerned about his invention that Kevin O'Leary told him to drive the truck and the bed rider off a cliff as soon as he left the tank.
I can't do that, Bob. Thank y'all.
Take care.
Gato Cafe. What's better than going to a regular old cafe for your coffee and morning bagel? Going to one where there's a million cats flying around. Adriana Montano wanted $100,000 from the potential investors to open up her very own feline foodery, where patrons could pay an on-the-door fee and spend their break times with cats that needed adopting. If they wanted, they could also walk out with a new kitty. There are some successful cat cafes in the world, but the Sharks weren't swayed by what she would bring to the table, as all Adriana had was an idea. No premises, no products, and no cats. The business tycoon said that there's really nothing stopping them from opening their own cat cafes should they want to, and Montano didn't have a good response to that. Unfortunately, the Sharks kept circling and never took the bait, telling her to get a loan from a bank and open the venture on her own. Sometimes, it's difficult to see why some people even bother if they don't have an answer to the questions.
When I open a cat cafe in Florida, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna explode. So they really missed out.
Chimera bodyboard. At first glance, Jason Wood's invention looked like the coolest thing to hit the waves since Jaws. The motor-powered bodyboard promised to help its users fly through the waves, giving them the exhilaration and thrill while traveling at safe speeds. Woods wanted $250,000 for 20% of his company, but while the Sharks liked his avant-garde idea, they weren't sold. His business plan was almost non-existent, and in his haste to prove his worth, James let it slip that he'd invested over $130,000 of his own money to come up with just the prototype. With no orders in the works and yet to even get a patent, the deal was just too risky for the investors to entertain. Woods tried to turn it around by saying that he was now ready to take his business further, but the Sharks called his bluff. Damon went so far as to say it was the worst pitch he'd ever seen, while Mark Cuban said it was simply full of crap. It was sink or swim for James, and he sank like a stone.
I'm pissed. All they cared about was what's the dollar amount. Not in my wildest dreams did I think they wouldn't be able to see the potential in what was said right in front of them, and they just completely couldn't see.
Rolo Doc. Jumping back to businesses that don't really exist, Rolo Doc was the brainchild of brothers Richard and Albert Amini. The idea was to create a social media network similar to Facebook for those in the medical industry and their patients. They did their best trying to impress the investors, but when it came down to the nitty-gritty, all these two siblings had was an idea for an app. And an app that probably wouldn't work anyway. The pair wanted $50,000 to get their business off the ground, but Mark Cuban was so taken aback by how awful they were that he got up to shake their hands and tell them how utterly terrible the pitch was. These days, the Rolo Doc website is still live, promising to connect doctors and patients via an easy online service. Judging by the look of the website and how basic it isn't hard to tell that the last time it was updated was 2012. Probably a good idea to euthanize this idea for good guys and lay it to rest with the dignity it deserves.
You know, I was expecting to be able to portray it a little bit better than we really did.
Trackdays. Rather than going down the usual routes of pursuing Hollywood producers, James LaVitola and Brian Pitt thought that they would take their idea for a motorcycle thriller movie to the sharks. Focusing on the sports of MotoGP, the guys thought that they were onto a sure thing and asked for an investment of $5 million for 34% of the profits from the movie. 34% sounds like a fair whack, but if the movie makes nothing, that's a hell of a loss. As soon as the guys mentioned what they wanted, Mark Cuban immediately said he was out, making it one of the fastest turndowns ever on the show. LaVitola and Pitt showed the Sharks their mock movie trailer, but it was incredibly low rent and didn't exactly scream Martin Scorsese.
That's it?
That's it?
Although they had a vague idea of what they wanted to do, they were missing two vital parts: a script and some actors. With no big names on board to star in the movie, all the Sharks knew that it was a terrible idea that was doomed to fail. Kevin told them it was a horrifically bad idea and forbid them to proceed. His words of wisdom probably worked, as we can't remember any wildly successful motorbike movies as of late, can we? The Sullivan generator. Mark Sullivan swam into the tank with a complex idea that the Sharks had never seen before. With the help of some hand-drawn sketches that looked like a 6th grader's science project, Mark explains that his specially designed generators would revolutionize the world of energy. Placed in oceans around the world, the strange invention would pull in huge amounts of ocean water to create contained hurricanes with the idea of producing electricity. According to the genius, gold would be a byproduct that could be harvested and turned into currency.
What? Gold.
Gold?
Gold.
G-O-L-D.
G-O-L-D.
Mark offered the lucky investor a cut of the profits, which he estimated to be $96 billion. The whole premise was so bizarre that no one really knew what to make of it, and needless to say, the Sharks were out. Who knows? Maybe Mark really does have the answer to all the world's sustainable energy problems, and we're all just too dumb to understand it.
In America, this is the land of opportunity and innovation, and inventors like me are what will save America.
Scotavest. Scott Jordan was already a successful businessman when he pitched his idea for a multimedia vest to the Sharks. Dubbed Scotavest, the clothing brand aimed to give wearers a different way to carry all of their various technology. While the pitch itself wasn't exactly a disaster, two of the Sharks bit and wanted to invest. But Jordan wasn't exactly taken by what they offered him, considering that he had already sold $5 million worth of merch. He took a moment to phone one of his advisors, Apple computer inventor Steve Wozniak, asking them to reconsider their offers. O'Leary wasn't about to up his offer, and Jordan soon got irate, telling all of them that he didn't need them anyway, while pointing aggressively in their direction. It certainly didn't make Scott look good, but in the end, he was the one who got the last laugh. According to Wikipedia, Scottivest is widely successful and has been steadily increasing in revenue and probably making Scott a very rich man. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up on the investing side one day. He's certainly got the attitude.
Valuation that they put on my other company to combine was just insulting. I had no other choice. I had to walk.
Copa de vino. Just because offers are made doesn't mean that pitches are great. James Martin approached the Sharks with his single-serving wine company Copa de Vino in Season 2, hoping for a decent investment to help get things off the ground. However, despite several offers put on the table, Martin didn't take any of them as he thought they were too low. However, he came back again in Season 3. You'd think that he would have accepted something then, but he didn't, despite the offers being made to him again. During his second pitch, he spent a painfully long amount of time going back and forth with the Sharks to try and come up with a suitable arrangement, but he was being noticeably difficult. All of the Sharks agreed that it seemed as though Martin wasn't actually looking for money at all, but instead using the show as an advertising platform to help him sell units of booze. James ultimately left the show empty-handed, but taught a valuable lesson to the Sharks, namely to watch out for gold diggers who were using this opportunity for all the wrong reasons. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other 2 videos on your screen.